What is going on, you guys? Bashtian here, and today I'm coming at you with the Scrap Dinosaur deck profile. Now, Scrap Dinosaur has been a deck that has been kind of sticking around for a little bit, but dinosaurs in general have always had a little bit of a say as far as the meta is concerned. It's kind of a deck that's kind of just hung around. It's been Rogue, Tier 1, Tier 2. It's pretty much been all over the map, but now it has become more or less a rogue strategy in the current format. It's still a very fun deck to pick up. It was keyword there was extremely budget back in the day. It actually still pretty much is. I remember when the Dino Smasher Fury structure that first came out, and I picked up 3 copies of it, immediately took it to locals, got slapped up. But then I learned how to play a deck, and I started doing decent with it. It's kind of a deck that it's, again, really good for beginners. It's also really good with the meta currently, so you don't need necessarily the extra deck in order to fully go off with Dinosaurs in general. The Scrap engine does allow you to take advantage a little bit more of your extra deck, so it does allow you to go ahead and go further. But in the event that you play in locals where there's a whole bunch of people scythe locking you, things like that, or just not being able to special summon in general from the extra deck, then this deck does allow you to play around that very well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the monsters, guys, we play triple Soul Eating Oviraptor. It's really just there's no way to really play less than 3 of this card. Your main starter is so freaking good. Not only does it allow you to search a dinosaur monster from your deck, but then also it allows you to pop a Dino on the board in order to go ahead and special summon one from the grave. But if you have your Lost World on board, you have to go ahead and protect if you're going to pop a normal monster and then pop a baby in your main deck, and then continue to go off from there. Just a phenomenal card to go ahead and start off with the deck. 1 Miscellaneous Saurus, because it is unfortunately still at 1. Once this goes to 2, I can really see Dinos doing a lot more in the metagame. Honestly, I don't think that I understand Miscellaneous Saurus does a lot for this deck as far as pretty much preventing you from being hand trapped, things like that. But I do not think Miscellaneous Saurus is a meta. It's too much of a meta-defining card now. It definitely was back in the day, but as far as it is now, I definitely could see this card coming back to 2, maybe even 3, and still doing a lot of good for the deck without it being overly toxic. Next is going to be your 1 copy of Giant Rex. Giant Rex is an extremely valuable card only because it is the only one that it will special summon itself after being banished. And you're going to be doing a lot of banishing with this deck, so in the event you get Lanciad, that's tough. that's real tough. But definitely you want to go ahead and play still the 1 Giant Rex. You don't play more than 1. It's never really going to come up. And you want other cards in your deck as far as like engine pieces or starters to go ahead and get you moving forward. As far as the Scrap engine, we play double Scrap Raptor, 1 Scrap Chimera, and your 1 Scrap Golem. People say that Scrap Golem is optional. I very much disagree. I think Scrap Golem is a phenomenal extender for this specific package. I would not play a 3rd Scrap Raptor just because it becomes a bit too bricky at that point. You're playing a bit too much of the scrap. 2 I think is just good enough. I mean, it is a level 4 dinosaur monster, your Scrap Raptor, so you're able to go ahead and bring it out with either Petite Pteranodon or your Baby Ceratosaurus. Or you can also special summon it back from the graveyard with a card like Soul Eating Oviraptor. Your 1 Chimera and your 1 Golem are still standard as far as that goes, but a phenomenal engine nonetheless, unless you put up some extremely menacing boards. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 negates, easy. So it's really good, and I'm really liking this package overall in the dinosaur deck. Next for your babies, you play triple Baby Ceratosaurus, 1 Petite Pteranodon, and your double Animadorn Archosaur. I remember when this card was 50, 60 bucks. I think it actually reached the $80, $90 range back when dinos were really top tier. I think it was 2 years ago when they were really good, and the Animadorn Archosaur only had 1 printing as a secret rare, but now these are about $150, so definitely a lot more budget now. Baby Ceratosaurus, fantastic card. I really want secret rare printings. If Konami would please go ahead and do us a solid as far as giving us a bit of a rarity bump on the Baby Ceratosaurus, that'd be nice, but it's okay. Maybe next time that dinos become top tier. So triple Baby Ceratosaurus, 1 Petite Pteranodon, and the 2 Animadorn Archosaur. Playing more than 2 is just really asking for a break. You're never really going to... The duel is very rarely, if ever, going to go past a phase where you actually summon, resolve the first one. So playing a second one is really more of a insurance for your deck, just in case you happen to draw one and you can't activate it for whatever reason it may be, or it gets negated. You still have the second one to go ahead and go off from there. But it's not a card that I would say that is essential to go ahead and play at 3. I definitely play triple of the Baby Ceratosaurus just because you can very easily go through all 4 of your poppable babies in your turn 1. I have debated around adding another Petite Pteranodon as well, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as is for right now. Overall, it has been very, very consistent, which I know that's a big hit on dinosaurs that they do brick. But honestly, this deck is very, very consistent and doesn't brick as often as you would think. Just as long as you know how to play your certain lines and learn your combos. For the rest of the big dinosaurs, you might play 1 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, 1 Overtex Quatless, 1 of your Dino Wrestler Pankratops, and the 1 Dogoron. So Dogoron, you play because it's a searchable kaiju, lets you go ahead and get over whatever problematic monster you may have, whether that's Baron de Fleur, whether that's a DPE, whatever it might be. Just go ahead and tribute it off and then just get it out the way, move on to something else. Now Appaloosa, that's very, very detrimental to the deck as well. Just go ahead and get rid of it, and then you proceed with your plays. So the reason why I'm playing Overtex Quatless and not a second Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is that I believe that Overtex Quatless gives you that versatility to where you can choose either one of these, or you have the option in some lines of play where you can actually summon both of these boss monsters. And having both out is extremely powerful and a lot more versatile than just having 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos, where at that point I really just don't think that makes too much sense as far as your resource game moving forward. But Overtex Quatless lets you negate spells, traps, and then your UCT lets you go ahead and deal with any monsters they might have on board. So it's really, really good as far as that goes. I think the 1-2 punch is going to be essential in making sure that you're able to go ahead and secure even more wins for yourself. And then of course the Pankratops, because it's Pankratops and the card's broken as well. It's the reason that card's at 1. Let's see. For the hand traps, I played triple Ash Blossom, triple Effect Veiler, and then triple DD Crow. I mentioned this in my DDD deck profile. I really wanted to go ahead and kind of move away from using Ghost Ogre. I really didn't see the big benefit behind using Ghost Ogre. Yes, I understand it gets the monster off the board. I understand what Ghost Ogre does, but I believe Ghost Ogre is more beneficial in other decks that maybe use Emergency Teleport and can, use it as a tutor in some way. I just think Ghost Ogre overall as a hand trap is a lot less impactful than DD Crow. That's why I want to go ahead and switch that out. Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom have proven they have been very, very useful, especially in this current format. But again, Ghost Ogre, want to get it out the way. And there was just no space for Nibiru. Again, the big issue with dinosaurs is the fact that the deck does brick. So you really want to minimize that as much as possible. And that's why I didn't have the space to run like a Nibiru in here or Drone Lockbird Lancia, but those cards can very easily go into the side deck and go wins in games 2 and 3, respectively. And that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Go ahead and go right into the spells. For the spells, we're going to start off with the field spells. So we play triple of the Lost World, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Mystic Mine. So Lost World is a phenomenal field spell for this deck. Basically, anytime a dinosaur monster is summoned to your field, you go ahead and special summon a dinosaur token or a Jirac Egg token to your opponent's side of the field, which they can use eventually during their turn. That's why you play cards like Soul Eating Overwrath to go ahead and pop it, and then Lost World's going to go ahead and protect it. It pretty much lets you go off and start popping your babies from the inside of the deck. So it's really good card as well. Terraforming, and then your 1 copy of the Mystic Mine. I had thought about playing Metaverse instead of the Terraforming, but I think that just being able to search out the Lost Worlds turn 1 is just a little bit more beneficial than just flipping Metaverse and activating Mystic Mine on your opponent's turn. Next, you play triple Fossil Dig. If you could play 3 Rhoda, you would play 3 Rhoda, and this is Rhoda. So that's it as far as that goes. Then for the other spells that we do play, I played double Evolution Pill, 1 Upstart Goblin, and then 1 Called by the Grave. Like I said, I do not want to play Extravagance. I do not want to play Prosperity. I just don't feel like they actually help the deck moving forward. I want to play as much engine pieces as possible. Overall, this deck has been extremely consistent as far as my playstyle goes. It's very rare that it breaks, but I want to go ahead and again maximize the opportunity, maximize my engine, play the 39 card deck with the Upstart Goblin, a Call by the Grave in case you for the hand traps, and then the double evolution pill so you can go ahead and go off and summon out your big monsters. And that is going to be it for the main deck, guys. Now let's go ahead and get right into the extra deck. For the extra deck, honestly, this extra deck is a lot of fun to use. I'm not sure what it is about it. It just has a lot of interaction with it. So you play one of the Volzar Dolka, one Lagia, 2 Dolka, 1 Tornado Dragon, and 1 Abyss Dweller with a lot of really top decks revolving around the graveyard. Abyss Dweller is fantastic. You just go ahead and pretty much saying no to whatever your opponent's doing. Tornado Dragon, again, in the events that you need to go ahead and just get rid of a spell or trap your opponent controls. Eldritch is still extremely powerful deck, and it does play things like, it does play a lot of floodgates as well. So it's being able to play a Tornado Dragon just to go ahead and pop their floodgates or whatever it might be, just comes really in handy quite a bit. That's going to be it for the Xyz monsters. Very rarely do I have the opportunity to summon a Zeus, so that's why I don't run it. Link monsters play 1 Link Karibo, 1 Secure Gardna, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Pentastag, 1 Scrap Wyvern, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, again being able to pop spells and traps is good, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Borosword Dragon, and 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. So I was originally not playing Secure Gardna, I was playing Topologic Bomber Dragon, but then I saw how many times I'm just left with a Link Karibo on board and no real way to get rid of it in order to be able to activate my double evolution pills. So I think Secure Gardna is essential in pretty much in this exact version of Dinosaurs. That's why I highly recommend go ahead and play it. IP Masquerena, again, is a fantastic card, and you make this to make the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess quite a bit, which is actually fantastic, making it being able to not be destroyed. The Pentastag, pretty much essential in all Dino builds. Also really good to go ahead and just get rid of pesky lake monsters such as Link Karibo, also push for game. Your Nightmare package, Scrap Wyvern, which is a scrap version of the deck. Borosword Dragon, just a nuisance to go ahead and try to get over for your opponent. And then Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, if you can make it with 3 or 4 materials, you're pretty much set for that duel. And it's going to be extremely hard to go ahead and get over unless your opponent has Ogre, which is pretty much the only good application I see for Ghost Ogre in Joy Spring, or Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, right? Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. And the last card in the extra deck is your 1 Borreload Savage Dragon. It's pretty much the only expensive card in the entire deck, but it is essential in order to be able to go ahead and go off with your plays. So Borreload Savage pretty much makes this deck that much better. Not only are you going to have your negates from Appaloosa, but just being able to have an extra 2 negates with Borreload Savage, plus having 3,000 attacks, being a really good additional boss monster for the deck, makes this an extremely powerful rogue tier strategy. And honestly, I am excited to see what the balance is going to say regarding miscellaneous stores, and if we get some cards back for this deck, I definitely could see this deck going to tier 2 or tier 1 contention status. But that's going to be it for the deck profile, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one.